Hi friends, in 2021 I released Woke the Movie, where I asked viewers how deep they were willing to go down the dark rabbit hole of internet conspiracies. During the course of the film, I introduced 6 self-proclaimed whistleblowers, each claiming to have experienced something out of this world. However, it's not their individual experiences that we're going to cover in this video. Instead, it's when you combine many specific details stated by these whistleblowers that we can uncover a story that explains many difficult and hard to understand concepts that may change how we look at our world.
Can the amplified voice of Ella Fitzgerald shatter this glass? Believe it.
What's interesting about these whistleblowers, and about many in the woo-woo community in general, is an extreme importance placed on vibration.
Everything around you is vibrating energy. Everything around you is vibrating energy. This is not solid. Nothing is solid. It is manifested through geometry, light, sound.
Everything's always vibrating, right? I'm sure it's something that we've all heard one time or another, but how many of us take a moment to think about what that really means? We know we can break down our reality into its most basic forms, like the atom. However, the atom is given its form by energy. Even Einstein once said that all matter is energy whose vibration has been lowered as to be perceptible by the senses. And it is frequency that holds the informational blueprints to our universe. The structural information present in frequency can create amazing effects on our physical world. You can see here, audio frequency, when aimed at normal sand, can form structures that behave like atoms, or even galaxies. Its effects on water are just another example. Sound, by itself, can even create complex pictures. And if we compare this to the way energy creates everything around us, then we can truly begin to understand how our multidimensional reality really works.
The only experience that is directly available to you is your sensory data. And this sensory data is merely a stream of electrical impulses that stimulates your computing center.
In other words, all that I really know about the outside world is relayed to me through my electrical connections.
Exactly.
Why, that would mean that I really don't know what the outside universe is like at all for certain.
That's it.
Most of us think of dimensions in terms of height, width, depth, and time being the 4th dimension. However, that's not what I'm talking about. Instead, think of all matters existing within a certain band of frequency, like musical harmonics and octaves. Everything that we could see, touch, or otherwise sense is basically existing in the same limited band of frequency that we're able to perceive. And like musical octaves, these frequency layers can go higher and lower forever. And while our consciousness exists in this dimension, humans too are said to have an unconscious presence in these lower and higher layers of reality, which are often referred to as 4th, 5th, and 6th densities.
Also in 4th density, we all become clairvoyants. We'll be able to see energy fields, see life forms, which means that if you're hiding something, it'll be seen instantaneously.
William Tompkins even believes that various advanced beings have been using this psychic mechanism to communicate with humans.
Probably thousands of people telepathically got information, okay? The bells were rung in hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people.
The abilities that they have are latent in everybody. They just haven't lived in a society that has been screwed with like we have been here.
We have dormant and advanced DNA that many don't want us to be in touch with. They have created a control system that we are now in to ensure that we stay limited to a 3D existence.
Interesting theory, huh? But there's no scientific proof that such abilities exist. Or is there? Dr. Rupert Sheldrake out of the UK has spent the better part of his career scientifically proving the existence of what he calls morphic resonance, a metaphysical transmission of information between living creatures that transcends the physical limitations of space and time. Most of Sheldrake's work is often ignored and criticized by the mainstream. However, Sheldrake has provided study after study proving the existence of some form of telepathy in animals and humans. One such experiment had to do with whether or not dogs could sense when their owners would return home. The results are difficult to explain, absent some form of telepathy. However, many experiments with positive results, such as this one, go ignored.
Well, Rupert Sheldrake is a highly credentialed scientist. These ideas were scientific enough, but they were the kind of science that these people don't like. If you were to suggest, as I do, that in altered states of consciousness we may access valuable and useful information, which may be of fundamental importance to humanity, that's a step too far.
And according to Max, the notion of psychic power is just another fact of reality for elite bloodline families at the top of the pyramid. In fact, he believes that this power is how they've been able to retain control of the world for centuries.
They interbreed because they want to make sure that they maintain this particular DNA within their family line, because this particular DNA gives them exalted abilities, gifts, psychic gifts. They have kept the secrets and the cheats for themselves, and they have left the slaves with no understanding of what's going on.
If we are indeed multidimensional life forms, with our souls as the part of us outside the physical body, then what happens when those bodies die? You see, one of the things that these whistleblowers agree on that's rather interesting is that out of all the beliefs about the afterlife that exist, they are all staunch believers in reincarnation.
A lot of people don't believe that they have many lives, okay? Some have more than others. We've got a whole lot of other stuff we got to do, okay?
Typically, reincarnation is associated with the Hindu religion, but in reality, the three major monotheistic religions where reincarnation is not believed in are the historical minority. The Norse and Druid religions believed in reincarnation, as well as the Sumerians, the Aztecs, the Mayans, Incas, ancient Greeks, and various practitioners of voodoo in West Africa are just some who believed we lived again and again. And the fact that many of us can't remember any of these past lives has halted our development as a species, whereas remembering past lives is common for more advanced life forms, like Alex Collier's Andromedans.
They know what their reincarnational past has been, so they see improvement in themselves life after life after life. We, if we hadn't been so screwed with here, would have the same abilities. But we've been manipulated incredibly on an intense level every day.
And perhaps this ability is still partly present in those who have yet to been exposed to years and years of physical and psychological manipulation. In fact, certain young children are able to recall vivid details of their past lives, a phenomenon with many documented cases. Perhaps none more stunning than the case of James Lanninger, a young man from Louisiana who had a fascination with airplanes since the time he could walk. He was especially interested in aircraft from World War II.
I said, "Oh look, there's a bomb on the bottom." He said, "That's not a bomb, that's a drop tank."
However, young James was plagued by reoccurring nightmares that caused his parents to worry.
He would wake up in the middle of the night, he'd be laying on his back, kicking his feet up at the ceiling. He would just be crying. He'd say, "Airplane crash on fire, little man can't get out."
Unable to clearly describe his dreams, James would draw them out, and the scenes always looked like World War II naval and air battles.
Bombing ships, you see men parachuting. Here's another one where planes are dropping bombs.
I'd always asked him, "Do you remember what your name was?" And he always said James. But his name is James. "Do you remember the name of your boat?" He said Natoma.
Some research turned up the USS Natoma Bay, which fought in Iwo Jima. After contacting some of the surviving members of the Natoma crew, they came across this man, James Houston, a pilot who died during the fighting.
A rather large shell just hit him in the engine, and it burst into flames and went down.
James's parents even took him to a reunion of pilots who served on the Natoma, some of whom James was able to recognize by name.
"You're Bob Greenwald." I'm serious.
And he'd never met Bob Greenwald?
No, he'd never met him before.
He even met Houston's sister, Anne.
And he goes, "It's not Anne, it's Annie. She wasn't my oldest sister. I had an older sister than that." And I said, "You did? Who was that?" And he goes, "Ruth. I mean Ruth."
Annie is what they called me when I was little. Knowing my name and my sister's name, things that my brother did when he was a kid. It's too amazing to describe how he would feel that way, but he does. He considers me his sister.
Anne was so touched, she even gave James items from her brother's final effects.
The real bottom line here is we're all spirit. We contain a soul. That soul is a part of all that is. And that soul has been really trying to be recognized in each of us. And it hasn't been because the real truths of our essence, of our existence, of who we are, having been blinded from us, and us being convinced that we're something that we're not, that we're physical, that we're animal form, and we're not. We're spirit. Our spirit animates these physical forms, period.
If we are indeed higher dimensional beings with the ability to exist in this astral realm, then it stands to reason that we're not alone.
The astral realm, which is the 4D, is pretty much taken over.
This was the craziest trip I have ever had in my life.
And nature might provide a way for essentially anyone to come in contact with these entities through the chemical DMT. DMT is produced in the brain by the pineal gland, and it is believed that our brains are flooded with this chemical in the moments before death. The bright light that many report during near-death experiences is widely believed by scientists to be an effect of this compound. DMT is also available as a highly illegal recreational drug, and while science states that its effects are hallucinations of the brain, there's an endless stream of personal testimonials that suggest that what they're experiencing is a shared universe, and filled with entities who are normally filtered out of conscious awareness.
They appear, it's not like they just pop out of nowhere.
There was like 5 of them looking at me.
They had some weird faces. I can't even fucking describe their face.
The thing from The Nightmare Before Christmas with like...
And then it like stops me.
And waving his finger at me when I tried to look around.
It talks to you. I know it sounds crazy.
Well, the apple might be a little annoyed at this conclusion. It makes a contact with the square from below and sends our flat creature fluttering and spinning.
You're like, ooh, we're scary.
These dancing entities that were kind of just dancing around.
Like the little dragon head things, and they doing like this, and then they'll see that I can see them and they'll go.
At first, the square has no idea what's happening. He's terribly confused. This is utterly outside his experience.
I'm like, what the fuck is these motherfuckers doing?
He comes to realize that he is seeing inside closed rooms in Flatland.
It was like you could see everything and everywhere.
It was like all machine, like... The weird...
It was like melting. I was like going in the world.
He is looking inside his fellow flat creatures.
I can see his neurons. I can see all those energy circles around his eyes.
He is seeing Flatland from a perspective no one has ever seen it before.
Whoa!
Insane, insane, it's insane.
You people have been told total incorrect information from medical, from science, from history, from astronomy, from mathematics, you name it. Everything is incorrect.
I really appreciate you. Yes.
This is a lie.
But if you want to find out how deep this goes, you'll have to subscribe for more videos. Or better yet, just watch Woke the Movie out now. Take care.